Tyndale Audio presents The Mark by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, narrated by Frank Muller. Prologue. The announcer said, "Ladies and gentlemen of the global community, your supreme potentate, His Excellency Nicolae Carpathia." Nicolae took one step closer to the camera, looking directly into the lens. "My dear subjects," he began, "we have together endured quite a week, have we not? I was deeply touched by the millions who came to New Babylon for what turned out to be gratefully not my funeral. I believe you will agree that I proved who I am and who I am not. You know what you saw, and your eyes do not lie. I am eager to welcome into the one-world fold any former devotees of the radical fringe who have become convinced that I am not the enemy. On the contrary, I may be the very object of the devotion of their own religion. In closing, let me speak directly to the opposition. I have always allowed divergent views. There are those among you, however, who have called me the Antichrist, and this period of history the tribulation. You may take the following as my personal pledge. If you continue with your subversive attacks on my character and on the world harmony I have worked so hard to engender, the word tribulation will not begin to describe what is in store for you. If the last 3.5 years are your idea of tribulation, wait until you endure the great tribulation. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Revelation 12, verse 12. It was mid-afternoon in New Babylon, and David Hassid was frantic. Annie Christopher, his fiancée, was nowhere in sight, yet he could barely turn his eyes from the gigantic screens in the palace courtyard. The image of the indefatigable Nicolae Carpathia, freshly risen from 3 days dead, filled the screens and crackled with demonic energy. With the disappearance of his love fighting for his attention, David found himself drawn past the jumbo monitors and the guards and the crowds to the edge of the bier that had just hours before displayed the quite dead body of the king of the world. Should David be able to see evidence that the man was now indwelt by Satan himself? The body, the hair, the complexion, the look were the same. But though he smiled and talked softly, it was as if Nicolae could barely contain the monster within. Controlled fury, violence delayed, revenge in abeyance played at the muscles in his neck and shoulders. His transparent gaze seemed to pass through David, nearly moving him to step forward and confess his treachery and that of every comrade in the tribulation force. David reminded himself that not even Satan was omniscient, yet he found it difficult to accept that these eyes were not those of one who knew his every secret. He wanted
Sample complete. Ready to continue?